The Mexican Grand Prix. After a 23-year absence, it has finally returned to the Formula One stage. Now, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez returns at a time when we have the Mexican Sergio Perez being a fantastic Mexican ambassador for the sport with an impressive F1 career thus far.
I can't wait to get there with my home crowd and really feel the whole passion from them. That will be a really exciting thing.
The Mexican Grand Prix historically has been kind to the British though, with Jim Clark being the most successful driver and the classic Colin Chapman Lotus team being the most successful constructor in Mexico. It all looks promising for the Brits here in 2015, especially as the last Formula One race held in Mexico way back in 1992 was won by Nigel Mansell as he headed the Williams 1-2 in both qualifying and the race. So can we see that performance emulated by the Williams team once again 23 years later? Here in a very sunny Mexico, 23 years of wait ended as F1 finally went back to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Q1 took place, and while the Red Bulls initially struggled for pace, they were able to pull a good enough time out of the bag when they needed it. In the end, Q1 finished with both Manners on the back row headed by Will Stevens, then it's both McLarens with Jenson Button the quickest of the two, then finally the last person to be eliminated was Carlos Sainz, who had a very poor performance when you bear in mind that Max Verstappen finished the session in 9th. Q2 saw a spin for Daniel Kvyat after again struggling this session, much like in the previous qualifying session. However, in the end again he made it through the session just in time as he finished in 10th. The cars knocked out in Q2 were Nico Hülkenberg down in 15th with Maldonado just ahead in 14th. The home driver Sergio Perez finished down in 13th, a slightly disappointing session for the Mexican here in Mexico. Finally, Max Verstappen is in 12th and Marcus Ericsson has an impressive session to finish 11th. Lastly, we have Q3, and in that session the Williams of Valtteri Bottas set the timing screens alight thanks to the long straights of this circuit and the high-speed design of the Williams car. In the end, Valtteri Bottas did finish in pole position with Nico Rosberg just behind. Then it's both Ferraris headed by Raikkonen with Lewis Hamilton all the way down in 5th. In the end, the Red Bulls finally had a trouble-free qualifying session here in Mexico as they sandwiched the other Williams of Felipe Massa. The top 10 is then completed with Romain Grosjean in 9th and Felipe Massa just one place ahead of his teammate in 10th. So here we are on the grid for the Mexican Grand Prix. As you can see, beautiful blue skies above us. Another dry Grand Prix seemingly this series. We've had pretty much entirely Grand Prix this season, which has been quite unfortunate, but this still promises to be a very good Grand Prix. Nonetheless, should be quite interesting, especially as we're starting on the Prime, so we are doing a different strategy to everyone else on the grid, I believe, apart from Jenson Button, who's also starting on the Primes with us. But the lights are going out, and they are out now, and away we go. And another smoky start from us, as with every other Grand Prix start so far this season. It has been completely smoky start. But it looks like we got a Ferrari that's coming alongside us. We got Lewis Hamilton coming alongside us. And it looks like, no, we may have got past Nico Rosberg. We break early, and Hamilton's going to try and move around the outside, but he's gone deep. And it looks like we've been able to maintain second place right up behind Nico Rosberg with Sebastian Vettel directly behind us. So Sebastian Vettel has done well off the start to jump a few places there. But we're going to try and move up the inside of Nico Rosberg. And have we done it? Well, no, because he's got the inside line for the next corner. And this amazing side-by-side racing between us and Nico Rosberg. But we're going to have to give him some room going into this double right-hander. And there you go, he just uses the grip on the option tyres and just pulls away there. So we're down in second place. But here's a replay of the start from Felipe Massa's perspective, because Massa qualified down in 7th. But look how many places he gained. He jumped the Red Bull of Daniel Kvyat, he jumped Raikkonen, he's right up behind Hamilton, right alongside, or just behind rather, Sebastian Vettel, gets past Vettel, almost gets past us, and gets past Hamilton here. He's up to 3rd, briefly. Sebastian Vettel does get past him in the end, but Felipe Massa went from 7th to 4th. So that was a great start for him, especially as that was damn nearly 3rd. Now skipping on a couple of laps later, obviously he's directly behind Sebastian Vettel, and using the straight line speed of the Williams and the DRS, we should see Massa cruise past Sebastian Vettel. And on the brakes, yeah, Massa's able to keep the place. Now Felipe Massa's in 3rd, so we've got a double Williams podium, which is exactly what we want for the British constructor. So as you can see, skipping on to lap 5, and obviously our tyre wear is doing well, but apparently Nico Rosberg's isn't. He's going into the pits very early. Even on the option tyres, you want to be doing about 8 laps on them, not 5. So that is a very early stop for Nico Rosberg there. I have no idea why he's pitted in so early, to be honest. But skipping on to lap 7, as you can see, Felipe Massa's now directly behind us. But Felipe Massa's on the option tyres, and because he's in a race with the Ferraris, we've let him go so that we can hold up Raikkonen for him, as well as the fact we don't actually hold him up in the race, because obviously he wants to stay ahead of the Ferraris, because Sebastian Vettel has already pitted, and you never know, he may well jump Lewis Hamilton, because Hamilton has also pitted. And in fact, actually, of the top runners, Felipe Massa is the last one to pit, apart from ourselves. But as you can see, Max Verstappen, there's 3 cars ahead of him, so he's had to brake out of that. As you can see, the DRS is flapping about all over the place, but he's had an engine failure. So Max Verstappen, the Renault engine has just gone, and that is a smoky end to his Mexican Grand Prix. But as you can see, coming into the pits, the last one of the top 6 to pit, and I think the last one full stop to pit, apart from maybe Jenson Button, who's again also on the prime tyres along with ourselves. But Nico Rosberg's got past us, Lewis Hamilton has got past us. What about both Ferraris? Raikkonen's got past us, Massa's got past us, and Vettel has got past us. So we are the last of the top 6. Actually, Jenson Button there in 7th. That is because obviously he is staying out longer than everyone else. Now this is Massa, who's behind Kimi Raikkonen. Now can he get past Kimi Raikkonen? And he has. So somehow Raikkonen was able to jump Massa in the pits, but Massa has now got back past Kimi Raikkonen. Now he's ahead of both Ferraris. Now we're going to try and see if we can join in on the action, because we need some points in the Constructors' Championship for Williams, as you can see, setting the fastest lap of the race, so we are on fire at this point. Nico Rosberg has gone to the pits. Again, a very early stop for him, so now that means we're up into 5th, directly behind Sebastian Vettel coming into the stadium section. Are we going to brake late? And yeah, we've just about been able to brake late than him, but still early enough to make the corner. Now we're directly behind Kimi Raikkonen. Now Raikkonen's going to have DRS on Felipe Massa, but we should also have DRS on him. And now let's see how this is going to work. Going around the newly named Mansell curve and coming out onto the start-finish straight with the DRS. And we're quite a way behind Kimi Raikkonen, considering he's got the DRS as well. But Lewis Hamilton there has come into the pits, so we are up into 3rd. So there is a net 1st place directly ahead of us. But Kimi Raikkonen has jumped Felipe Massa. So now Kimi Raikkonen is in a provisional lead for the race win. Felipe Massa's in 2nd. We're going to get past Massa though. Obviously we did let him by 7 laps ago, but clearly Massa wasn't able to do anything with that advantage. We've been able to do something with that advantage, as we've just got straight past Kimi Raikkonen. There, Kimi Raikkonen's in 2nd with Massa hot on his heels there. Now coming into the pit, again the latest of the top 6 to pit, so we're going to have to see whether Rosberg's going to jump, as he most likely will, considering he pitted so much early and was so far ahead of us when he did pit. Hamilton's also got past us. Now Kimi Raikkonen in 4th place, will he get past us? Obviously we were ahead of him when he came into the pit, but have we been able to maintain that advantage? No, because he's come out ahead of us, and so Sebastian Vettel. So both Ferraris are fighting there, and worryingly Massa has actually lost out to both Ferraris, because as you can see Massa is in 6th. When we last saw this group, Massa was ahead of him, ahead of Sebastian Vettel anyway, so that is quite worrying how Massa has lost that advantage, and he's a way off in the distance. But we're going to try and get past both Ferraris down the start-finish straight, and we've actually slotted ahead of the first one, which is Sebastian Vettel. Now Kimi Raikkonen during the 2nd DRS straight, will we be able to jump him up into 3rd place this race? This is a podium place on the line here, and we've just about been able to get past Kimi Raikkonen. He actually ran very wide there. I don't know why, because no contact was made between myself and him, but he ran up very wide and gifted the place to us. And now Rosberg again has pitted in very early, so he's already in the pits. Lewis Hamilton, I believe, is in the pits right now, so that means we are now leading the race. And we're not due to pit in for another few laps. So we're going to have to see whether we will actually be able to jump both Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. So we're coming into the pits, we're going to have to find out what our gap is to Rosberg and Hamilton, who, well, Rosberg at least has been ahead of us the entire race. So let's find out. So we're going to come into the pits, another set of option tyres, which is good because all the front runners now are going to be on the prime tyres because they haven't been on them for the entire race. So we have got a pace advantage, but looking back, we're going to try and see who has entered the pits now. And both Mercedes have entered the pits. I don't know why this is. They made a stop extra than me, so they've made a stop more than they've needed to, and they're pitting on the prime tyres now. So they made an extra stop for the option tyres, which they only used for 2 laps, and they double stacked. So we're on board with Lewis Hamilton, who's lost out several seconds to his teammate Nico Rosberg thanks to the team double stacking. But they've made an extra stop. Look, they've made 4 stops. And Jenson Button, who obviously started the race on the prime tyres, is in 7th, because he's made a strategy masterclass here. Fernando Alonso, also one of the few people only to do a 3-stop strategy, is in 9th. So really, the only people here who have been sensible on the strategy is myself, Jenson Button, and Fernando Alonso. And as you can see, Jenson Button's coming to the pits now for the prime tyre, for another set of the option tyres rather, because he started on the prime tyres. So we're going to have to see where this puts him out. Obviously, he was in 7th when he pitted. Daniel Ricciardo was the guy just behind in 8th. Now, will he get out ahead of Ricciardo? I don't think he will. And in fact, I can tell you no, he's way behind Ricciardo. So Jenson Button has rejoined in 8th, ahead of his teammate Fernando Alonso. So McLaren are going to get a double points finish as it stands. As you can see, here's Jenson Button, who's made all of his pit stops and again has been a strategy masterclass this race. He's in 8th, directly ahead of us. We're going to lap him. So Jenson Button has been one of the 3 people this race who's actually been clever on the pit stop strategy. Everyone else has been completely stupid on the strategy, but we're going to come round the last corner, Mansell curve, and we're going to win the Mexican Grand Prix for Valtteri Bottas, and this means that the Finnish have won the National F1 Championship. So as you can hear there, the Finnish national anthem, that is because Finland have won the national championship. Obviously, thanks to us being as Valtteri Bottas for a fair few races, we have definitely helped him over the course of the season, and in Belgium as well. We've definitely helped him there, and Finland have been such a strong partnership in the national championship. That's why Bottas and Raikkonen have been able to win it for Finland. As you can see, we were only 16 seconds ahead of Nico Rosberg, which shows if Rosberg and Hamilton only pitted 3 times, like myself, they probably would have won. And Lewis Hamilton pitted 5 times. I mean, look, if he only pitted 3 times, he almost certainly would have won the race. Jenson Button in 8th, Alonso in 9th, Ericsson in 10th, so he was able to do well despite pitting 4 times. And really, look, Will Stevens and Grosjean pitted 8 times. So really, this really was a race all about race strategy there. So as you can see on the drivers' table, Lewis Hamilton is still leading that with Valtteri Bottas in 2nd, and obviously the gap was closed between Bottas and Hamilton, with Bottas winning and with Hamilton only coming 3rd. But as I say, due to the pit stop strategy, that could easily have been the other way round, with Nico Rosberg in 3rd and Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel 4th and 5th, with Massa way down in 6th. So at the minute, it's a 3-horse race for the Drivers' Championship between Valtteri Bottas, Nico Rosberg, and the guy who I want to win it from a British perspective, Lewis Hamilton, but he is definitely most likely to win it at the moment. So on to the second half of the drivers' table, and finally Jenson Button has been able to jump Will Stevens and Sergio Perez in the drivers' table, thanks to Jenson Button being one of only 3 drivers this race being able to pull out a proper race strategy, considering everyone else did at least a stop more than they needed to. I mean, Will Stevens and Grosjean did 5 more stops than they needed to, but Button only doing 3 stops like he needed means he's been able to overtake those guys, and Fernando Alonso has also been able to close up on Carlos Sainz and Felipe Nasr, just like Marcus Ericsson also has, as he was in the points along with Alonso. Now on to constructors' tables, and as much as I would like a British constructor to win, that is looking extremely unlikely now. Williams can still mathematically win the constructors' table, but they would need a 1-2, effectively a 1-2 for the remaining 2 races, and Mercedes to have a double retirement in the next 2 races, and it's so unlikely with Williams being 62 points behind, and with there only being a maximum of 86 points a constructor can score in the remaining rounds. We're going to have to give it the Constructors' Championship, I think, to the German Mercedes team, and Ferrari and everyone else below cannot win the Constructors' Championship, but Ferrari could still overtake Williams, so we will have to watch out for that in the remaining 2 races. Finally onto the Nations table, and as previously stated, Finland have won the Nations table. There is no way any nation could catch up. Australia was the last nation that could theoretically catch up, but they haven't been able to do that with Daniel Ricciardo, so Finland have won the Nations table. Germany are way out in second, and from a Great Britain perspective, I don't think we're going to finish any higher than 4th, and that will rely on Daniel Kvyat having some poor finishes. But Brazil are just behind us, so we've got to watch out for that. And then below the top 6, it is a scrap for 7th, with Netherlands, Venezuela and France all very close on points. And obviously USA still haven't scored any points, and with Rossi not taking part in Abu Dhabi, I believe, he is going to have to score a point in the next race, and if he doesn't score a point in the next race, then, well, USA are going to leave this season pointless. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to leave a like, a comment, and next time we'll be at the Brazilian Grand Prix, one of my favourite Grand Prix of the season, and with one championship wrapped up here and both championships wrapped up in the real life season, there isn't a great deal left to play for, especially as also the Constructors' Championship is effectively wrapped up as well. We will have to watch out for the Drivers' Championship, so be sure to join us for the last 2 episodes to see how that plays out. So I'll see you then.